Today on the Raiders coverage, we're diving into some important updates about the Silver and Black. Las Vegas has added more undrafted free agents UDFAs, bringing the total to 17. That's a bit surprising, especially since General Manager Tom Telesco originally mentioned expecting around 15. When you combine these 17 UDFAs with the Raiders' 11 draft picks, the current roster stands at 92 players, one over the NFL's offseason limit. That means at least one cut is on the way. I'll break down who I believe could be the odd man out. Later in the show, we'll touch on Hunter Renfrow signing with the Carolina Panthers, what it means for both sides, and how Raiders fans should feel about the move. Now let's take a look at the newest UDFAs. Don Boyd, offensive lineman. Georgia Southern Boyd is a 6'3", 310-pound offensive tackle who logged over 1,500 snaps at left tackle between Georgia Southern and Alabama State. He gave up 6 sacks and 43 pressures across 952 career pass-blocking snaps. The Raiders continue to invest heavily in the offensive line, and Boyd's size and experience give him a chance to compete in camp. Zachary Franklin, wide receiver, Illinois Franklin, caught 55 passes for 652 yards and 4 touchdowns last season. Standing 6 feet 1 inch and weighing 204 pounds, he isn't the most explosive athlete. He posted a 4.6 2-second 40-yard dash and a relative athletic score, RES, of 2.64. Still, he has solid college production and a connection to cornerback Tariq Woolen from their time together at UTSA. Anthony Booker Jr., defensive tackle, Kansas. The Raiders finally added a true space eater to the defensive line. Booker stands at 6 feet 3 inches, 347 pounds, and specializes in clogging up run lanes. He totaled 82 career tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. He may not provide much as a pass rusher, but his ability to take on double teams could free up opportunities for others on the defensive line. Here's a quick look at a few more UDFAs joining the Raiders this year. John Joyner, Matt Jones, Parker Clemens, Trevor Maw, DT from Baylor, John Humphrey, CB from USC Hajj Malik Williams, QB from UNLV. That's your latest look at the Raiders' offseason roster activity. With 92 players in the building, a cut is coming, and competition is heating up in every position group. Let's run through the rest of the Raiders' undrafted free agent additions. Greedy Vance Jr., cornerback, USC, Sean Dulac, linebacker, Buffalo, Mello Dodson, Jared Hufford, Carter Runyon, and Hudson Clark. Rounding out the group are Pat Conroy, Jalen Walker, Don Boyd, Zachary Franklin, and Anthony Booker Jr. Now, a quick roster update. After signing 17 UDFAs, the Raiders currently have 92 players on the roster. However, NFL teams are only allowed to carry 90 players during the offseason, unless they have an International Pathway Program exemption. Las Vegas does, thanks to David Agoha, giving them a roster limit of 91. That means one player still has to be cut. Here's the question for Raider Nation. If you had to cut one player to get the roster down to 91, who would it be, and why? Drop your answer in the comments. If it were up to me, I'd move on from one of the players at the bottom of the depth chart. In just a moment, I'll show you 10 names I'd consider on the bubble. Now, let me be clear. It's never fun cutting a player. It's a tough part of building a team. But every spot matters when you're shaping a 53-man roster from a pool of 90-plus players. Sometimes, you even explore trade options, especially for someone like Thayer Munford. He may not make the final roster, but he could still carry value for another team. That's a conversation for head coach Pete Carroll and GM Tom Telesco to have. If I were in the room with them, these are the 10 names I'd put on the table as potential cuts. I could give you a football reason for each. It's part of the process. And I approach this show just like I'd approach a real roster evaluation in the Raiders' war room. Also, quick update. The Raiders have invited one more player to rookie minicamp. That makes 6 total camp invites so far. These aren't official roster members, they're players on tryouts, working to earn a contract and a spot in the league. Up next, we'll take a look at off-season workouts, which will include many of these camp invitees. Mark your calendars. Workouts officially begin on May 19th. Now let's talk about the upcoming off-season schedule. The first key date to remember is May 19th, when off-season workouts begin. After that, mandatory minicamp kicks off on June 10th. As for additional camp invites, the Raiders are continuing to evaluate talent. One of the latest is Dorian Singer, a wide receiver out of Utah who caught 53 passes for 702 yards and a touchdown last season. He's not the biggest guy, but he brings speed and comes from a physical, well-coached Utah program. The Raiders have clearly made wide receiver a focus this offseason, both in the draft and with UDFAs. They've also added several other players through minicamp invites. Here are the 6 names we know so far: Campy Goff, defensive back Bless Harris, offensive lineman Josh Carlin, offensive lineman Tom Callahan, long snapper Callan Griffin, running back Dorian Singer, wide receiver. Before we wrap things up, let's talk about Hunter Renfrow. The veteran wide receiver has signed with the Carolina Panthers, and it's great to see him get another shot. Carolina was the first team he worked out for before visiting with the Raiders, so there's a full circle feel to this signing. Renfrow grew up in South Carolina and played his college ball at Clemson, so this move brings him back home. He's always had the respect of Raider Nation, and even though he's in new colors now, the support should still be there. If you've got love for Renfrow, drop a number 13 in the comments. We'll be watching to see if he secures a spot on the Panthers' final roster, and we'll be rooting for him. As always, stay tuned. If more Raiders news breaks, we'll have updates for you right here.